G'day, mates. My name is Paul Calamir. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q Radio on this rainy, finally Friday morning. And I was up at 3:30 this morning. Don't ask me why. That's the time I got up. When I wake up, I get up and I start working on today's stories and doing other crap that I have to do in the morning. I'm an early bird. What can I say? I'm just going to adjust this camera. There you go. Just adjust it a little bit. And we're ready to go. Gary Wilkins. Gary Wilkins, I am early today. Poor Gary, he was wondering what the heck happened to me yesterday because I started a little bit late, but I was sitting here talking to my buddy, Dave Alexander, who runs No BS Sports, nothing but sports, no BS. And we had a great chat. All sports. Of course, I do the Habsolutely show every Wednesday at noon. So we talked a little bit about the NHL, no games on, about the Olympics and all the other crap that goes on. Hey, if you're going to barbecue some shrimp, throw some shrimp on the Barbie today, you better hurry up because it's 40 degrees out there. When I get up this morning, it was 38, so it's gone up to 91% humidity. 2891, but that barometer has dropped to 2871. It's going down, low pressure moving in, inclement weather coming. We're supposed to get 50 mile an hour winds this afternoon later on. And it's supposed to get really miserable out there. So my advice to you, if you're going to throw some shrimp on the Barbie, you better do it now. And watch out for kangaroos because they're mean sons of guns. I'll tell you that right now. They're whacked. Kangaroos are whacked. Never tangle with a kangaroo in the water. They'll drown you. Stay away. They're wacky animals, believe me. Okay, so what else is going on? They're talking about power outages this afternoon with high winds. So if you live in Fort Erie or anywhere where they're going to get these high winds, we'll probably get some of them in Niagara Falls. You could see some power outages. Yeah, they're calling it for it to be very, very, very bad. But the temperature is going to be good going into Friday. The temperature's getting up there now. We look around, the meteor crater is gray again. There's barely any white on it. The streets are clear. You're not slipping and sliding around anymore. So that's a good thing. At 3:30 this morning, it was raining. Yeah, it was raining. So it could get goofy out later on this afternoon, but the winds are supposed to die down by tonight. So that's a good thing. Let's get over to my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And this is the time of year you start looking around and going, hey, I think we're done with this winter nonsense. Yeah, it might be a little bit chilly out and that kind of thing. But as far as snow goes, it's getting dark at 6 o'clock at night now. The clocks go ahead an hour in another couple weeks, not this weekend. I think next weekend or March 7th weekend, whatever, 2 weeks away. And when that happens, of course, you get more hours of daylight, which is fantastic, and snow melts. So now's the time to get your car in. My point is, get your car into Wild Bill's and get a checkup. Beat the spring rush. Everybody's going to be jumping in there to get those winter tires off and get their checkup and make sure everything's okay. Get their brakes serviced. And that's important too, because if you don't get them serviced, what happens is they have all that salt in there from the winter, and your caliper seize, and then you need new calipers. You need a bunch of new stuff. It's very, very expensive. It's better to take care of it before you get to that point. And that's why they do a brake service. Now check out your systems, your air conditioning, everything you need for a great summer. That's what you want to check. And Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop will do that for you. Ken Hunter will go through your car A to Z. A to Z. Check everything out. Make sure you're ready for a good spring and a happy summer of motoring. On Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership, you can't go wrong. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, wildbillsauto.ca is the website. Check it out. Look up their services and make your appointment today. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. While you're at Wild Bill's, just jump over to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973, or search Your City, Your Voice, and subscribe to the channel. Come on, help me out. What the heck? It costs you nothing to subscribe. you get notifications when I drop another video. There'll probably be one on there by around 3 o'clock this afternoon, and and you can give a thumbs up. You can leave a comment, whatever you want. I respond to all comments. If you have the hankering to talk to me during the show, well, you can text me right here on this phone right here. It's a great little phone. Compliments of my buddy Gary Wilkins. And this number is 289-994-7560. That's 289-994-7560. Any topics you're interested in, you want to send me a message and talk about, hey, get them over this number, and I will definitely mention them on the air. That's what I do. I'm going to have a sip of water, then we're going to get going. I had some breaking news just before I came to the studio. Joe Biden is in critical condition in the hospital. That's what the breaking news said. The veracity of it, I don't know. I would say it's probably true. As soon as I said that, Liz said he's been in critical condition for a long time. So yeah, she's been hanging around with me. She gets it. And so pretty crazy that he's in critical condition in the hospital, especially after you go into the Epstein files. And it says in there, I don't know if you ever I've gone in there. I'm reading a little bit at a time. There's a lot there. But it says that he got executed by a firing squad in, I think, January of 2019. So who you saw as president really wasn't president. But that's what they're saying. That's what Joe Biden's saying. They say they shot him. He's dead. It was an imposter. And now they're saying that the crazy maniac is in critical condition in the hospital. So we'll see what the news says. Who knows? I don't know what the real story is, but check it out. Check it out. You'll find out something's going on. That's for sure. Okay, I got somebody standing right out the window here with a radio going full blast, sweeping. I'm telling you, downtown, it's never a dull moment down here. Okay, speaking of viewer comments, let's get to viewer comments. Alicia 17E6N. The video our so-called mayor posted was beyond cringy. I seriously a complete and utter embarrassment. There are no words for me. Well, there are a few. I guess you can't say them. I just can't believe people find it funny. And that was the most ridiculous thing I personally have ever seen. And I've been pretty clear what I think of it. Piece of junk, insulting, stupid. And how can we have a mayor who's supposed to be running a $200 million corporation of the city of Niagara Falls? How can we have this guy acting like this? And this isn't out of the normal. He makes all these goofy videos. It was cringeworthy for sure, and creepy, weird, King James the weird. But I don't think it quite was as creepy as that one about the elf, where the elf was chasing him around, calling him daddy. That was pretty weird. Oh yeah, but when you have a ringmaster running a carnival town, what do you really expect? Seriously, the city's a big mess. And the mayor, who is so obsessed with backup cameras on cars, yeah, oh yeah, he's obsessed with it. I wish he was as obsessed with our roads, our homeless situation, our crime. I wish he was obsessed with those rather than a backup camera. But you know what? There really is a cause and effect going on in Niagara Falls. You elect the ringmaster, you get a carnival, and that's the bottom line. And this video is just, yeah, I agree, Alicia. 17E6N. Pretty creepy, pretty weird. Let me put it that way. Okay, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. That was the only comment. That's all we're going to talk about today, although I got lots to talk about outside of the comments. That was the only comment that I had coming in yesterday's show. But if we have more, we'll talk about them later in next week or so. And next week, I do want to see if I can get Chris Regis in here because of everything that's been going down at the region lately and what's going to happen with this amalgamation. And I'll talk more about that in the show. But get Chris in here, get his take on it. He's pretty aware of what's going on, and he loves to talk about it too. And he has some good insight. The guy knows what he's talking about. See if we can get him in here next week. I think John Ringo Beam said I should get him in, and I agree, John. I should. I will get him in. Okay, I don't think that goofy video, King James the Weird, that he made, that one we're talking about now, is going to go away very soon. The guy was on CHCH trying to explain that he has a real concern about backup cameras and them being clear of dirt so people can back up safely. Are you serious? With the problems we have in the city of Niagara Falls, this is his concern? I think he should be more concerned, like I said, about having good roads, plowed with no potholes, the homeless, drugs, crime, upholding rights and freedoms which seem to be lost on this city council, and the general health of the city rather than backup cameras. But that's just me. Call me crazy. I never thought backup cameras being clean were a big thing, but apparently our mayor has time to go around cleaning them with an old rag, wearing a porno mustache, looking like Wayne Gates, the Cheeto Bandito. I don't know. What a wacky city we live in. We really, really do. Elect circus entertainers, and you get a clown show. Okay, pre-packaged and ready to go. Yep, Bob Gale gets appointed chair, and immediately the wheels are set in motion to change the governance model in the NAG region. And to be honest with you, it can't come fast enough for taxpayers. Regional Chair Gale has sent a letter to all mayors about the urgent need for government reform, including less elected officials and amalgamation. And it's really nice of them to try to include the mayors. Um, this all makes sense, right? Governance has been up since way before COVID. It got set aside because of COVID. Everybody's been yelling about it. Too many politicians. They get a guy in there, Bob Gale, who is one of the guys who was promoting an amalgamation in the region to get rid of politicians, to get rid of extraneous staff. And here we are 2 months after he gets appointed. It's the first thing that really comes up on the table other than the regional budget. And to me, this thing is fait accompli. It's already a done deal. I think he's asking for answers by March 3rd from the mayors, what their preference is. But to be honest with you, I think it's more lip service than it is reality because you're not going to get an answer on May 3rd. And then all of a sudden, it's all going to be decided, or sorry, March 3rd, and then it's going to be decided by May 1st. Because May 1st is nomination day. That's when these people who are running for city council are going to start putting in their nomination papers. And they have to know what they're running for. Are they running for the Niagara-on-the-Lake, Fort Erie, Niagara Falls ward, riding, Niagara City, whatever you want to call it? Are they running for city of Niagara Falls with 8 aldermen and a mayor? What exactly are they doing? So in a month and a half, you're not going to figure that all out, which means that we have to wait 4 years for another election and keep the 126 politicians we have now, or they've already pre-done it. It's already pre-planned. They know what they're going to do. And then at the end of the day, it's just going to happen. And they've got it worked out the way they're going to do it. I know John Ringo Beam says, how are you going to split up the assets in that? And basically the assets are going to be doled out to whatever region. Niagara and Lake will keep their assets. We'll keep our assets. Everybody will keep their assets. It's going to be one big thing. At the end of the day, it'll all be amalgamated and it'll be one. Our casino money will be split between Fort Erie, Niagara and Lake, and Niagara Falls. It's just they've already got it worked out. That's why this 1% asset management, basically, they demanded that we do that take an inventory of all our assets, including properties and equipment and stuff, because when this amalgamation was going to happen, they have to know what they're working with each city, Niagara Lake, Niagara Falls, and that. Now that's done. It was supposed to be completed in 2025. It has been completed and it's ongoing. We contribute every year through our taxes. So I think it's already pre-planned. It's already done. It's going to go down. I don't know which one they've picked, whether it's going to be one Niagara, one big city called Niagara, including all the municipalities, or they're going to split it into four cities: Niagara, Fort Erie, St. Catharines, and Lincoln. It could end up like that. Niagara would be Niagara Lake, Niagara Falls, Fort Erie. Then we have Welland, Niagara, Welland, St. Catharines, and Lincoln, whatever they want to call that out there. It'll all be one. They'll all be one. And we'll have four different cities, basically, in the region. And that'll get rid of all the politicians and that. We won't need as many. It'll be good. But at the end of the day, I think it's already decided. I think it's already decided myself. That's my opinion. I don't know. I have no idea. But there's still going to be a region. It's just going to have four cities in the region. You still have to have a region because most of your services have been centralized. I mean, you've got your waste management, you've got your police department, you got the Niagara Health System. I mean, all these are managed by the region. Your transit, regional transit. I mean, the only thing that's really missing, and I think it'll be dumped in there eventually, is the fire departments. It'll be a regional fire department or whatever. So I think you're going to see that. I don't think they're going to get rid of the idea of a region per se, but you won't have the duplication of services because there'll be one engineering department, one planning department. It'll all be done the way it probably should have been done in the first place. So we'll see what happens. March 3rd is the date that they have to have their opinions in, and then we're going to go see where they go from there. I think there's a meeting. Didn't Lori Lococo tell me? I thought she said there was some kind of a regional meeting or something on some date if I wanted to go or whatever, if it's open. They're going to be meeting about this, or Bob Gale's going to have some kind of a press conference, or something's going on anyway. And I probably won't go, but I'm sure somebody will. That I know, and will tell me exactly what happened once I find out more about it. The objective is to maximize efficiencies, and that's what we should get once we get rid of most of these politicians, go down from 126 to about 40 or 50 and everything else, and start shoring up. I think when Al McKay was in here from the Property Taxpayers Alliance, he said that he can see $25 million being saved by amalgamation. And that's a good chunk of change right there every year for taxpayers. And when you think about regional, the way it's set up right now, it's been a disaster since January the 1st, 1970, when it was born. And ever since then, there's been referendums to get rid of it, and everybody votes to get rid of it, although we haven't. We've been sitting on it. And to put in perspective what we've faced over the last 4 years as taxpayers, 2023 region raised their taxes 7.6%, 2024 7%, 2025 9.6%, and 2026 this year 6.3% for a total of 30.5% compounded. So it's probably closer to 35%. And that's a lot. That's a lot. We've been hit hard. It's time to contract and make it affordable for taxpayers and get us off the hook of this. This is a bad merry-go-round that we got to stop and fire up a new version of it. Okay, what do you think about that, you guys out there? Anybody know any more about it? I don't. I mean, that's all I got. Chris Regals will probably know a little bit more than me. And I'm sure some of the other guys, I want to get a gentleman in from Property Taxpayers Alliance from Niagara on the Lake to get his opinion too. So I don't think I'll squeeze him in next week. I'll get Chris Regis in hopefully next week. And we'll get the other gentleman from Niagara on the Lake in probably the week of May the 10th. Sorry, May 10th, March 10th. Oh, I have this dream of being in May where we get 70-degree weather, but probably March 10th because I am taking off for a week. Although I'll do a couple shows from where I am. Okay, another day, another arrest involving immigrants. According to Peel Regional Police in conjunction with Canada Post, Project Undeliverable, that's what they called it, led to the arrest of 8 East Indian origin men, who are linked to a series of mailbox thefts across Mississauga and Brampton. Surprise, 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 as Gomer Pyle would say. Police say that more than 450 pieces of mail were stolen, stolen, having a value exceeding $400,000. Here's the kicker. Investigators noted that some of the actual accused could face deportation. And I'm sitting there going, could face deportation? I mean, they should face deportation, not could. They have to face deportation. What do you mean could? Could face deportation? What are the mitigating circumstances? They wouldn't. They come to a country, they rob and steal, and then they could face deportation? No, get them the hell out of this country. And, people will say, oh, that's being racist. No, that's not being racist. I mean, like that's being factual. If they committed the crime, they should be deported. I don't care. We know where crime originates. It's time to face reality. It's always the same people from the same places, and it's always some gang. They get together and do it in groups, whether they're stealing cars, planning home invasions, dealing drugs, doing smash and grabs on jewelry stores, stealing mail, ripping off federal and provincial government funds a la Frada Soda, or they're shooting and stabbing people on the street. It's unbelievable what open borders does to a country. I mean, this case highlights ongoing concerns around organized mail theft and financial fraud in the GTA, and it's running rampant. And the police don't seem to be able to stop it. And you always wonder why your police budget. It always comes back to this: why the police budget is so high. Well, when you get criminals and you're not detaining them, you're not deporting them, or you're not incarcerating them, that's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get. So there you go. My buddy went by, and this woman out here with pink hair is dancing around with her radio going full blast. And you can probably hear me. You might be able to hear the radio. I don't know. But it's out there going full blast, dancing around, sweeping up stuff and that. I don't know. The happiest person in Niagara Falls, I guess. Maybe she saw the video. I don't know. So, speaking of that, over to Alberta, where Danielle Smith is not only looking to separate from Canada, she's now looking to cut immigration and restrict migration on the next referendum. So, they're having another referendum, and this one's going to be about immigrants, immigration. The referendum ballot, to be held October 19th, will ask Albertans 9 questions that will float a reduction in immigration levels that would prioritize economic migration and ensure Albertans have first priority for jobs. Yeah, she's not fooling around. She's had enough of this. Another would enact a law that would make provincially funded programs like healthcare, education, and other services only available to citizens, permanent residents, and those with Alberta approved immigration status. So if you're approved to be there, if you have permanent resident status, or if you are a citizen, you can get the health care. Otherwise, they're not available to you. Another question asks Albertans if they support government proactivity working with other willing provinces to amend the Constitution to have the province appoint judges instead of the federal government and abolish the Senate. Now, this is a good one because we want judges, I want them elected. I don't want them appointed. I want them elected and responsible to the people. We need tougher sentences, and we need judges that are accountable to the people. And when you appoint them, they're not accountable to the people. When you elect them, they are. They'll take the job more seriously and they'll deliver the sentences that should be handed out, which takes the pressure off our police, which means taxpayers don't have to pay as much for policing. If they go to jail or they're detained or they're deported, it's better for everybody. So, yeah, I'd like to see that. She says immigration has put an unprecedented strain on healthcare, education, and social programs. Check, it has. Trudeau's opened our policies have done harm to all the provinces, including Alberta. Smith doesn't want drastic cuts to social programs. She doesn't want that for citizens. Instead, she wants to control the out of control immigration levels, which will have the same effect and which led to the problems in the first place. So there you go. And this isn't just a problem that Alberta faces. Every province and every city in Canada is facing the same problems. We saw it here with all the 5,000, and we see people from way up north who's I don't know what happened up there, whatever happened up there. They're living down here now. The government's picking up the tab. They're taking advantage of our roads, of our services, of our schools, of our health services, all our public services, and they contribute nothing. We pay. That's got to stop. So that's why I always say put a freeze on immigration in Canada. Carney should put a freeze and let Canada catch up. Let us catch up to the whatever million Trudeau let in. And everybody's got the same plea for help, but nobody has any money. Yeah, they don't have any money. They keep giving it away. So yeah, Danielle Smith, I agree. I agree with you, and we need a leader here that would do the same thing. This woke ideology has to be thrown out the window, and we have to start moving people who shouldn't be here. In Ontario, there's probably 2 million people that have come over on visas, maybe 2.5 million, and they've stayed. They've overstayed their visa. Nobody knows where they are. They're not throwing them out. They got to get rid of them. They shouldn't be here, but yet they're here. 50,000 students came in and on student visas and brought family over. They never even showed up for the first day of class. So when this happens and you're not dealing with it, this is where you are as a country and as a province, as a city, as a municipality, as a region. It goes right down the chain. So yeah, we need better governance. That's the bottom line, and we need tougher laws. Okay, so I got to tell you about President Trump and Barack Hussein Obama. What's going on with them? Because this is pretty interesting, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out that's going to blow everybody's mind. But first, you want to have your mind blown in Niagara Falls? Go get a pizza from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. It will blow your mind. These are good pizzas they make over there. Why? Because they're consistent. How can they be consistent? Because they use a recipe that's been around for 40 years for the sauce and for the crust. One of your, two of your main components of a pizza. The Mancini family opened Pete's Pizza, St. Catharines, 41 years ago, and ever since then they've been using this formula. You take a good blend of brick and Saputo mozzarella cheese. You throw it on the sauce in the right ratio. You take that pizza, put fresh toppings on it, throw it in the oven, cook it just right. You got yourself a winner, but not just once, time after time after time. That's what they do. But it doesn't end there with them. Oh no, you like wings with your pizza? Who doesn't? Guess what? They make phenomenal wings. Steak and cheese poutine, steak and cheese sandwich, chicken parm sandwiches, panzerotti. They run the whole gamut of food. Their menu's 3 pages. You fold it out, it's huge. And guess what? It's all good. I've tried most of it. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now they've opened a second location on the corner of Thurlestone Road and Kaler Road for your convenience. They're open till 2 in the morning, Friday and Saturday, midnight during the week. How you gonna go wrong? You know you want a pizza. Friday is pizza night. That's right. You want to sit down and you want to have a nice pizza. Is there some hockey going on? Maybe this morning there was a game. I forgot about it, but something's going on, and you're going to want a pizza when you're watching it in case Canada loses. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue, 905-374-2222. Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca is their website. Check it out and get yourself a great pizza. And thank you for supporting my sponsor and a corporation in the city of Niagara Falls that does great work in the city. We should be supporting all our small business people in the city. That should be a mandate of all of us. Forget about checking backup cameras. Go get a pizza. Okay, so President Trump is taking Obama to task for releasing classified information when he spoke publicly about alien life. And I don't know if you caught this interview, but in the interview, Obama said on that podcast that aliens are real. He hadn't seen them. He hadn't seen them. He hasn't seen one. But he said they're real. And Trump contends that Obama gave out classified information. That is classified information. And that he wasn't supposed to be doing that. He says, and Trump himself said, I don't know if they're real or not, but I can tell you he gave out classified information. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information files. And he said, no, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. So now, after he took Obama to task, there could be charges because of it. Yeah, you can't do that. Trump has now said he's going to release all of the files pertaining to alien life. This is going to be good. You think Epstein is good? Well, Epstein's more bad than good, but at least people know who these predators are. And we're seeing some guy over across the pond take it on the chin. He probably took it a few times on the chin, by the way. But he's taking it this time. And Trump said he's going to release all the files on alien life. He has instructed all federal agencies, including the Defense Department, to begin identifying and releasing all government records related to unidentified aerial phenomena, unidentified flying objects, and alien life forms. Now, if you've been following this stuff, you'll know that there's a claim they have alien bodies, they have crashed alien spaceships, they have them all on ice, and they've re-engineered them to give us some of our technology. There's so many stories out there. Pilots have said they've seen UFOs. People have said they've been abducted by aliens. So this is going to be interesting when they release this. This is going to be very interesting. And I mean, basically, a lot of people have been exposing this for years, supporting it for years. What is flying around that we can't explain? And there's a lot of stuff, stories of little green men, the grays, the big grays, the small grays, the recovery of crashed UFOs, even aliens walking amongst us. Maybe somebody was out there and aliens sweep it up. I don't know. They've been around for years, these rumors, and they're not just by kooks, conspiracy theorists. They're not just by kooks. They're by people who are sane, qualified professionals. So now everybody's going to get a chance to find out the truth. The chair of the Congressional Task Force on Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, Anna Paulina Luna is her name. Wouldn't that be Luna? How about that? Is ecstatic with this announcement. She said she looks forward to going through all the footage, all the photos, all the reports with the public. She's looking at it too. Everybody's going to be looking at these. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman called Trump's decision fantastic, saying that America and the world deserves this. This is another one to stay tuned to. Epstein files are interesting. If you go in there and start looking about, who's playing the game with Epstein and why he's such a powerful person and why leaders from around the world text him and email him all the time, giving him information that probably most people wouldn't be getting, but yet they go to him. Now, in these files, E.T. has called home, and he's on Earth calling from Earth. So there you go. This is going to be good. I can't wait for these to come out. I don't think they're going to be in the next month or anything. It's going to take a while to get through all the files and release them, but Trump has ordered them released. and we're going to see something. Now let's take a fly over to New York City, where this goofball Zorhan Namdani, the communist who would be king of New York, is finding out that being king isn't all it's cracked up to be. He was elected the mayor of New York just a few months ago, and if you remember, I talked a lot about that election. And we had Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa running. Sliwa is probably the best of the bunch. Andrew Cuomo's already been called every name in the book and done some pretty shady stuff, especially with the seniors during COVID. But they elected Mem Dandy. So his first 60 days, he's been in since the beginning of January. I think January the 6th or something he got put in, or maybe the 1st of January even. But it's been in a couple months, January, February, and already it's been a nightmare for him. All the programs he promised for free. Remember, everything was going to be free: bus rides, train rides, grocery stores run by the government with free food. What else was he going to have free? Oh, education, college, everything was free. He's going to do everything free. And now he's finding out he can't. It isn't happening. And I think most people who had a half a brain understood that he couldn't do it. So it's not happening. Right now, New York City's total indebtedness is $131.7 billion. The city faces a $2.2 billion budget shortfall for 2026 and a $10.4 billion shortfall for 2027, creating a $12.6 billion deficit. And this goofball wants to give everything away free. The problem is there's no money to be had for free programs. He doesn't have the money. New York City is broke. It's in a big mess. That's the bottom line. Governor Hochul says she is not giving New York City anything for free programs. It isn't going to happen. It can't happen. And that's the bottom line. So, Ma'am Dandy, his plan? Well, he's going to up property taxes on everyone by 9.5%. 10% increase in your property taxes. Raid the rainy day fund, which they set aside money for when they need it. And he's going to raid the retiree health benefit trust fund. And he's going to do that to raise money to address the deficit and also to provide everything for free. So everything for free is turning New York City into a hellhole. Garbage on the streets, high crime and homelessness as big business moves out, freeloaders move in. The middle class has become a bargaining chip in his proposed budget, because that's who's going to pay the most. You know that. It's a $127 billion nightmare. Democrats say he should be slashing spending, not hammering the taxpayers with a huge increase. This fiscal budget proposed for 2027 includes $11 billion in hikes. His take on it? Well, state lawmakers must pass a 2.2% hike on income taxes to pay for it. And that's only on people making more than $1 million. And if he doesn't, if the state doesn't pass that, well, he's just going to be forced to hit the property owners with a 9.5% property tax hike and raid those city reserve funds. You know, everything for free doesn't work. We find that out in Canada with our healthcare. Oh, it's free. Free healthcare, free healthcare. Yeah, well, you know what? It isn't free. Doctors don't work for free. Nurses don't work for free. Any practitioners don't work for free. Nothing is free. Somebody always has to pay. And who always has to pay is the middle class, the guy out there working to make a living. The rich don't pay. The poor don't pay. It's the people out there working to make a living who pay. And he's going to try to erase that middle class by taxing them to death. And you know what? When there's nobody to pay, socialism is done. You run out of people to pay. Like a true socialist, communist, he's going to see an exodus out of the city of the people who can pay. They can afford to pay. But they're not going to stick around to pay. And then it's going to be a disaster like nobody's ever seen before. This guy, how they elected him, I don't know. I don't get people. I don't know if they're greedy or they just think that for free actually can work. It doesn't work. That's the bottom line. You have to pay. So while we're speaking of New York City, and it gets wackier by the day now that Ma'am Dandy got elected, as the Muslims and criminal groups now have free reign in the city. Oh yeah, crime's up, everything's up there, like it's just the way it is. This guy. A Muslim leader in New York City is calling for dogs to be forbidden because they bother Muslims. Who emboldens these people to try to make rules for everybody else? And seriously, this isn't the first time I've heard this. I've seen stories of people walking their dogs down the road, and Muslims come out and say, "Don't walk your dog down the road. It bothers us. Dogs bother us." And you know what I would tell the guy? Yeah, there's no doubt what I would tell him. As a matter of fact, I would probably train my dog so that if somebody approaches me like that, that they would automatically take care of business. I don't have a dog. I have a cat. They're crazier than dogs. But this isn't the first time I've heard this. Muslims don't like dogs at all. Inside their houses, they're banned. They're banned from inside their houses because they say dog saliva and bodily fluids are ritually impure, which interferes with the strict cleanliness required for daily prayers. The goats are all right. I don't get it. Now, I'd like to see this goofball do a poll and ask New Yorkers who they would rather save if push came to shove, their dog or a Muslim. That would be an interesting poll. My vote is in. In Oklahoma, the guy said, well, let's invite them to Oklahoma to try that crap here. Come on, come to Oklahoma and tell us that. He said Oklahomans feel the same way about their dogs as they do about their guns. And he invited the Muslim cleric to come to Oklahoma and say the same thing and try to take their dogs and their guns away. Amen. Amen, Oklahoma brother. Amen. Let's see if they try it there. They can get away with it in New York City because you got a bunch of woke left-wing liberals all coming out of Columbia University and these liberal arts universities who let these guys get up and cause trouble. As a matter of fact, I saw a video, was it in Brooklyn or somewhere, where they have the calls to prayer coming over loudspeakers on the streets, blasting 3 times a day or whatever the heck they have to do. So, you know what? This is what happens. This is what you get. And hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's nothing. Well, there's lots they can do, but nobody wants to do it. So they get away with this kind of crap. Over to Syria. Everything's heating up in the world now, but something big happened in Syria. And the U.S. intelligence agencies have uncovered a plan for 6,000 hardened ISIS fighters to escape from a lockup in Syria. So Trump got a hold of all these ISIS guys. They've locked all these guys up. There's 6,000 sitting in a prison. And there was a big jailbreak planned. And U.S. intelligence got a hold of it and said, no. And these guys are all the worst of the worst. They're the fighters. And they went in there kind of top secret, in a top secret way. And they took all these guys and moved them to a secure place in Iraq and got them the hell out of Syria, because right now Syria has its problems. There's clashes going on with other forces in the country that threaten the Kurdish-led democratic forces the guards responsible for keeping the militants locked away and preventing an ISIS insurgent. So if these guys got out, it would change the whole dynamic of everything going on in Syria. It would probably reconstitute ISIS. And Trump quelled them and put them down quickly when in his first term. They haven't been really bothering anybody, but these 6,000, if they were let out, it would start up again. They've been moved to a secure lockup in Iraq, and in a behind the scenes maneuver that unfolded over weeks using rapid diplomacy and swift military lifts. So they get the planes in there, load them all up, get these guys to a secure lockup in Iraq. And the Iraqis, the diplomacy went fast because they understood the stakes. And these guys got out, they'd be spilling over into Iraq and revive a threat to Iraq, which was cleared by Trump in his first term. So it was in their best interest to cooperate and get these secure places all ready to take these 6,000 ISIS fighters. So that's a good thing. Good thing happened over there. It'll quell down that area for a little while. Although, I mean, an attack on Iran by the United States is imminent. The talks, the negotiations have broke down. They will not accept any terms the United States are giving them for some kind of a peace treaty. And Trump is sending the USS Gerald R. Ford to the theater, to the Persian Gulf from the Caribbean. And that's going to get involved over there with the USS Abraham Lincoln. You got 2 fleets over there now. He's moved hundreds of planes over there, the tankers, the refuelers, the F-35s, everything that they need over there. I wouldn't doubt if he has a couple of B-52s and B-2B bombers, Spirits sitting in Diego Garcia ready to go. So yeah, he's ready to go. All they need is the order. They're ready to rock there. And we can see it this weekend. We can see it right now. It could be happening right now as we speak. It's early in the morning there. Yeah, stay tuned for that one. Once it starts, it's going to be something. It's going to be crazy. Okay, so let's go to England, Britain, and this Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, because they stripped him of his title. He got arrested for his alleged actions that have been revealed in the Epstein files. Title's taken away, and now he's out under house arrest. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad for the royal family. So now what? Well, other than jail, because that's where he's going to probably end up. It's Canada. All the Canadians that have named streets and buildings and everything after him, they want to pull everything. They want to pull his name off everything and rename him. He's an embarrassment to the royal family, embarrassment to his well, what do you call the people who are monarchists or his slaves? They used to be peasants to the monarchy, but he's an embarrassment to the people of England, Britain, and Canada's going to pull all his name off any public institutions that has him on it because he's an embarrassment. And then Jamie Lemire, a great guy. He's related to me somehow. Lives in where does he live in Ohio somewhere? Or, I don't know, but he lives in the United States. But he left a comment on one of my comments saying, "I wonder how long it's going to be before he commits suicide." And I never really thought about that. I mean, these guys. It's only a matter of time before this disgraced royal is either offed. Somebody's going to off him before he starts chirping, save his own ass. They won't let him blow the whistle on anybody. Remember what they did to Princess Diana? Yeah. He starts talking, and he won't last long. Could be something to do with the Clintons. He was heavily involved with them. Clinton side. Strangely enough, close to 100 people have died that were associated with the Clintons, and Bill's meanderings and his Clinton Foundation and that. It's amazing the number of people have died around them. And everything rolling down from the Fed. So it's interesting that eventually this guy, he could take the pipe. And if he doesn't, he could actually be suddenly have a heart attack or not wake up or something like that. You know how they do it. You know how they do it. But I don't think he's going to be around much longer, this guy. He's only 66, so. But somebody's going to off this guy. And, like, if he's involved, you got to look at, Prince, or not Prince Charles, King Charles now, right? It was Prince Charles maybe at the time, but you got to look at him and say, how much did he know what was going on? And why didn't he say anything? So this could travel a lot farther than just him being arrested. If Charles knew and they discover that he knew what was going on and never said anything, he's just as guilty as Andrew. And if that's the case, he's going to have to step down and it'll be Prince William moving up to be King William or whatever he calls himself. So, yeah, this could spread far and wide, and it might not be as simple as Andrew getting arrested, maybe going to jail or something like that. Keep your eyes open. This isn't as clean cut as everybody thinks. Okay, I'm going to finish off today. It's a 10 to. I'm going to finish off with Nancy news. You got to always talk about Nancy. This is the biggest whodunit I've ever seen. It's right up there with Charlie Kirk and Kennedy and everybody else. Although this lady isn't famous like that. And why she's getting the press, I don't know. Because her daughter's a newscaster, very wealthy newscaster. But for some reason, this has picked up a life of its own, and there's got to be 100 reporters in Tucson, Arizona, at her house every day, waiting for clues, driving around, looking to see if they can solve the mystery. It's a really, really crazy thing. But the experts now are saying that it's only a matter of time before they catch the guy, because now they've got genetic genealogy, and they're tracking nationalities and relatives of the perpetrator, and eventually it will lead to the perpetrator, which is true. Once they find out what nationality is, then they can find out if there's anybody in the area that has a DNA that matches his. And then once they find out, they can just keep narrowing it down until they find out exactly who it is. And they've done it before, and they said they can do it again. So that's going to be interesting. Now, authorities say the unknown DNA found in Nancy Guthrie's home is a mixture of DNA, which is common in violent crimes and which may take a while to individualize, to separate the different DNAs, but it'll be traced to a specific person at the end of the day. Basically, they identify the nationality, then trace it to specific people, use those people as springboards to the guilty party. The time frame depends on how deep their roots are in the U.S. So if there's somebody that's new to the U.S., it might take a little bit longer than somebody who's been here for a lot of years. Once you set down roots and you have family, sons, daughters, grandma, grandpa, mom, pop, and you have all that going on, that's where you start tracing it to certain people, and then you start questioning them, and eventually it opens up to who it is. So a lot of people have been saying she's being held in Mexico, but Pima County Sheriff Nano says no. There's no direct evidence that links her to being held in Mexico. There's nothing that says that she is in Mexico. But Mexico would make sense. And this one guy that I watched, this one podcast that I watch, actually went down into Ciudad de Juarez, I think it's called, right across from Nogales, and at the border. It's about an hour away, just over an hour away from Tucson. And he went over there, and to get over, you just walk through. Basically, you don't do anything. You just walk into the country. They don't ask any questions. Really, don't do anything. And then he said, what about her heart medication on that? Can you get it? They went to a pharmacy and said, we need this, that, that. They had a list of her medications. We need this, we need that, we need that. And voila, they had it. Yeah, he had it right there. He says, yeah, you can buy this right over the counter right now. So to get her drugs she needs would be no big deal. Mexico would make a lot of sense. But the sheriff says, no, there's no indication she's in Mexico or anything else. And let's see, we got Google and Apple and everybody else working on these videos to see if they can draw more information from them. So we'll see if there's going to be anything else coming out of that. They're going to be looking at a ring. Apparently, one of the videos that they've uncovered it that he was wearing a ring. The perpetrator was wearing a ring under the gloves. They could see it under the gloves, so they're trying to augment that so they can see exactly what that ring was, what symbol it had on it, or whatever was on it. And they just found that. They looked closer and found that. So that's interesting. And they're also looking at that gun holster, which is a pretty weird holster the guy had. It was in the front of him. He held it in the front, which is odd for anybody who was carrying a gun. Was there a gun in there? I don't even know. Maybe there wasn't a gun in there. Maybe he was carrying something else, walkie-talkie. Who knows? But they're going to be looking closer into that. So the case remains a mystery. And I thought they were going to have it solved by this weekend, and you never know. They still might. But either way, it's going into its fourth week next week. And authorities say they believe she's alive. So there you go. I don't know if anybody else has been following that. I'm intrigued by it. I don't watch a lot of TV, so stuff like this, I follow. I follow that. I watch the Montreal Canadiens and news items about Iran and the news, and that's about it. Other than news like this, whodunits. I love whodunits. Everybody does conspiracy theories and everything else. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been my pleasure to sit here and speak with you. And don't forget to like my video, or don't like it if you don't like it. You're welcome not to like it. Leave comments, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I mean, it costs nothing for you to subscribe. It helps the channel out. It helps get it out to more people. And although I talk about stuff from around the world, really the gist of my show is local politics. And we have an election coming up, so it's even more important that everybody gets involved. They know what's going on, and I keep talking about it here to deliver the knowledge that I have from following this stuff to people who maybe don't follow it as close. You're going to get it from me if you tune in. So check that subscribe button, hit it, and follow the channel. It'll give you some information that you might want, or that you might want to look up different things about city council. I've got archives. I mean, you can go into YouTube and get my shows all the way back from 3 years ago. January 15th is a good one where we talked about the meteor crater over here and contamination, if you're into that. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in those shows, as well as guests who speak about the same things that I speak of. Anyway, that's it. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q on this rainy Friday in the end of February. We're getting out of February and into March. I can't wait. Don't forget to support my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. God bless you all. See you Monday at noon sharp on Your City, Your Voice, 4680Q. Promises made, promises kept. Tabernacle. I'll see you Monday at noon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy.